Hello, everyone. So, I want to share with you the oracle reading that I had this morning in my meditation or after my meditation. And I tend to pull a card just to see what energy I'm working with or what's coming up for the collective that I should potentially focus on for the day. And so, this energy has been really loud lately and very strong coming through, and even just the focus on Venus within itself, and just has very profound messages for me personally right now, and for those of you that really resonate with the Venus qualities and just what's been coming up through my messages. And so if you've been following my readings and my stories and things of that nature, you have also seen this card before. And so this card, I believe this was the first one that came through, and it's Venus in Capricorn. So I talked about this card before, and what's really fascinating to me with this card was essentially the baby in this box, or the child. And in this card, you have the squares within squares, and you have this, which is underneath this house, right? This foundation. So I feel like this child is so deep in its roots, or so deep in shelter. And so there's a question of, is this forced or is this by choice? And also there's the staircase here, which again brings forth that question, is this of choice? Is it a matter of choice, or is it a forced restriction? And so with Capricorn's energy, the quality of Capricorn has a lot to do with security. I feel like that is one of the biggest elements with Capricorn, and we tend to forget, or sometimes we forget about the Capricorn aspect of being very sensitive and being very, just very sensitive, in a sense where the boundary, the container, the structure, the rules, the law is there to, or has been created to, keep one safe and secure within their own environment, within their own home, within their own space. But naturally, like all things, time evolves, or cycles, energy keeps flowing, and things need to move and evolve. And so with that, the desires within change, or the rules should evolve, the containers should evolve along with what's going on in the environment within that, or what is keeping it safe. Everything is evolving cycle. And so this morning, when I just connected with the energy of this card, I felt breaking out of the box, right? Breaking out of the container, breaking out of the old patterns, the things that really kept you stuck, right? And if we even think about ego, the concept of ego, it's really there, like that mind chatter that comes through the ego. It's there because it's essentially that inner child wanting to feel safe. And so if you're trying to break out of your comfort zone, there's that talk that comes through where it's like, well, can you really pull this off? Or is this really safe? Or I don't know about this, or, but what if this happens? What if this happens? And all these different possibilities that don't feel good, that will keep you restricted and keep you feeling closed off. Oops. And so broadly speaking, this brought forth the idea of breaking out of unwanted conditions. And this is where we are now. And I feel with all of this energy in Capricorn, there's Mercury, which Mercury is going to move into Aquarius on February 14th. So almost finished with its cycle, or its transit through Capricorn. But we have Mercury meeting with Pluto. And at the same time Mercury met with Pluto, Mars and Venus were very, very close to each other. So they're all close together in Capricorn. And so there is this focus on safety, on security, on structures. And so where we are at the moment, as I've been saying, as we move into this Aquarius energy, Aquarius is breaking out of the box. Aquarius is seeing beyond status quo, seeing beyond convention. And so this also really points out to me Venus's cycle in itself. So Venus, while retrograde, had a conjunction with the sun, or a meeting with the sun, which is known as the Cazimi. So it's a Venus Cazimi. And so with the Cazimi, that initiated a new cycle in regard to Venus's cycle or story or journey into the depths of the underworld, where she is completely stripped of her powers. She goes through this deep transformation or death and rebirth, where she ascends out of the underworld essentially as a goddess energy. And this also goes between the morning star and the evening star, or the young warrior maiden aspect of Venus. And through that experience in the underworld, she comes out as this mother into the crone energy, right? The wise woman, the really connected to the deeper truths and mysteries. And so where we are in Venus's cycle, we're again in this morning energy, this brave warrior goddess energy, the maiden, just taking the leap of faith, being very adventurous, like taking risks. But as we step into this new territory, we are essentially we're surrendering and trusting. And with the myth of Venus's journey, there is the stripping away of her powers. And this is also known, Venus is known as Inanna, so it's really stemming from Inanna, but the Inanna myth was derived from Venus's transits and cycles, or Venus's cycle with the sun from our perspective on Earth. So Earth, Sun, Venus cycle, essentially. And so at this point, Venus is losing her powers, right? She's being stripped away. She is essentially allowing herself to be vulnerable. And so where we are as far as in this journey in Venus's orbit, she is a morning star, and she has already passed through the first gate. And the gates are signified or denoted by Venus's conjunctions with the moon. And so there are 7 gates, and these 7 gates correlate to the 7 chakras. And so thinking again back to the Venus Cazimi, that happened in Capricorn. So that Venus Cazimi in the Venus retrograde, when Venus retrograde makes a conjunction to the sun, that is essentially the intention that's being set. And on the flip side, or the other end of it, I guess you could say, is Venus's conjunction to the sun when she is not retrograde is the initiation, because that is when she is in the depths of the underworld and she goes through the whole death and rebirth experience. So now we are with that Venus retrograde that made a conjunction to the sun. That was initiation, that was intention. And so that happened in Capricorn. So with that intention was establishing the values, what's important for one to feel safe and secure. And in order to do that, we have to create a new structure. And to create a new structure, we first have to clear through the resistance, the clutter, breaking out of the box, essentially. And so again, she's going to pass through these 7 gates as she descends. So this is the point where she's actually descending into the underworld. You would think with the retrograde point, that would be the point of descending, but it's not. So with that said, since she's passed through that first gate, so she's being stripped of her first power, that first gate is dealing with the crown chakra. And I'm like, do I have my notes? I don't even think I didn't take notes in this one. But that is the gate of, what did they call it? I can't remember. So I will check back with that, because they have these, I love the names of the gate. Like the next one with the third eye is the gate of perception. So I love the way they have labeled these gates. But this is the gate dealing with the crown chakra. So essentially, this gate, being within this gate is, or crossing that threshold is allowing us to sit with, or we're in a space where we're sitting with what is blocking us or restricting us from connecting directly to the divine. Because this crown chakra, we have the soul star above the crown chakra, and being able to open this crown chakra and just channel in that divine light, right? That divine knowingness. So what is blocking you, what is blocking myself, us collectively, from receiving that divine light, that divine guidance, that divine communication? And so that's where we are right now in Venus's cycle. And so this is a point where we can meditate with this energy and begin to clear whatever's blocking us up here. And the first thing that comes to mind, which is, this is just so in divine alignment, is the fact that we're in Aquarius season, and I've already been speaking of mindfulness practices, or focusing, getting clear within the mind. So that's been something that's been coming up for me, because with this Mercury conjunction with Pluto, I definitely, again, dealing with old anxieties coming through. This is actually a different wave. Like, it's still old anxieties, but it's a different topic that I'm focusing on. And Pluto and Mercury met like very close to my moon in Capricorn and my Mercury in Capricorn. So I'm just like, all right, here we go. And so I love that the divine had brought this to my attention as far as this Venus and Capricorn energy. So we are here clearing space. And so at the end of February, I believe February 27th, but I will definitely remind you all and check in. The next gate that we'll be crossing through, the next threshold, is the gate of perception. And that's going to be releasing any blocks within, or just sitting with the third eye and asking ourselves, what is blocking us from seeing the truth, from being able to visualize our new story, our creative story, whatever story it is we're creating. And as just a spoiler alert, because I've already been sitting with this energy, it is our expectations, right? What are your expectations? Check your expectations, okay? While I've been creating my own story with these old anxieties coming back up, I have been really emotionally tapping into my worries and my anxieties of the old story. And I realized that I had these expectations that, you know, expecting like the worst case scenario, which that is anxiety, you know. And it's like, well, I know this to be true. I'm really wanting to feel into this story, but I keep attaching myself there. So, you know, then I realized it was my expectation that had a big deal to do with it. And I need to continue to, or I'm being guided to continue to focus on what I want, positive outcomes. So when I'm saying this to everyone, this is like also me saying this to myself. Recently, I've been going back to watch my previous videos and my lives just to like take in the message for myself. Because I'm like, I just spoke about this, and it becomes so relevant to my own particular life. So, also, one thing I did like that my teacher, I just watched his talk on Venus and Capricorn and the Venus Earth Sun cycle. And what I really love that he mentioned about Capricorn is that, because we tend to think about Capricorn as the authority, as the law. But really, if you take it back to the traditional aspect of Capricorn, while that is relevant, Capricorn also represents the council of elders, or the circle of grandmothers. So really tapping into that wise wisdom, going within the roots, right? To find, again, that security of what's going on within the natural world, the security of your ancestral roots or your spiritual roots, like going deep to really connect with that mystery, that divine, what's hidden beneath, right? Like what's really going on underneath the surface. All right, so the other two cards that I pulled today, and these cards always fall out. You guys know I don't pull these, but we had the Sun in Gemini with versatility. Then we had the Sun in Sagittarius with enthusiasm, which I love this because I realized when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, wait, these are opposite signs, Gemini and Sagittarius. And then again, they're dealing with Gemini and Sagittarius, we're dealing with perspectives, we're dealing with belief systems, thought patterns. Gemini being, you know, multiple thoughts, multiple perspectives. Sagittarius being the one truth, belief systems, right? Like where's the light within all of this, right? And between the two, we're trying to find like how these connect, where we are trying to find the truth, understanding that there are multiple truths, there are multiple routes to that truth. But with the with the Sagittarius energy, it's like being flexible within your belief systems, having the balance, growing and evolving with those particular beliefs. And so again, with this Venus in Capricorn energy, we're being guided to really, one, check our expectations, and two, reestablish our foundation by reestablishing or even assessing what our values are, what's really important, and from that you can derive your purpose. Okay, so if this is really important, like what's really important to me, what means a lot to me, and that can give you some little step into your divine purpose. Essentially, that is the key. And I've said this before, the pleasure and the meaningfulness, if you can bring those two together in an activity, if that isn't your purpose in itself, it will definitely lead you onto the path of your divine purpose. If that's what you're working to do, it will help guide you and lead you on the path of manifestation, manifesting your best life. And so, yeah, I feel like I should probably finish this up and wrap this up. This feels really, really good. I hope this is helpful. I'm definitely going to be talking more about Venus. Venus and Mars will have their conjunction on February 16th. So that's the same day as the full moon in Leo. That's going to be a really big day. And so I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I'm going to be talking more about that here in the next video or so, definitely in the cosmic climate. I'm definitely going to speak on divine counterparts, because I've noticed with divine counterparts, there's like a space being created. And that's one thing I also want to communicate, like the idea of space, like just giving room for things to breathe, giving room for things to evolve again, like opening up the box, right? Like making it a bigger structure, just making it like very spacious. I just feel a space where there's like air flowing through it, or like a space where water can, just flow through. There's this, I don't know where I heard it, but I was thinking, it was at one point I was like rearranging my home and something came up about feng shui, and it's like, good feng shui is like, if you can imagine like a gushing river or a gushing flow, like flow of water coming through your front door. Is it easy to navigate, or is it going to be like moving and hitting a bunch of things, crashing all these waves? Like if it's easy to flow and channel through, then that's good feng shui. And if it's like crashing into things, then that's like, you need to readjust some things. So I don't know, that just came to mind. But yeah, so clearing space again with the Venus moving through the different gates and clearing these different channels. We are clearing space to bring in fresh energy, to create, to live, bring to life, breathe in life, to our new story and to our new life and to this expanded consciousness, and really living fully within that. Yeah, so I feel really comfortable with this, and I feel really good. I don't know why I said comfortable, but I guess it was meant to be. I feel very clear with what I had to communicate with you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're interested in a private reading, you can definitely book that via the link in my bio. If you are wanting to work with me directly one-on-one to work deeply with your astrological energy and start to develop a spiritual practice and things of that nature, you can message me and we can talk about the one-on-ones. Until then, I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care.